Hello, this is Pixie doing another video. Hope you're doing well. Hope the weather's okay. There's a lot of heat waves going on. And it's just a start. I think one in August is going to be absolutely crazy in the UK. But who knows, it could be to do with like solar weather. I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at. It's coming right down. Oh. Could be to do with some other presence in our solar system. Could be that we screwed up the planet. But it seems a little convenient. We get blamed for everything. And it's usually the masses rather than the corporations. They get taxes, but they're still fulfilling the grand design. So we've got a concrete jungle, and most people's gardens are covered with concrete, and trees are chopped down, and all sorts of things. They wonder why, because that's biomass in the air, and trees are like lungs anyway. So you ever been under a tree on a hot day? Sometimes it feels like you've got a sort of cool breeze that's releasing air. It feels like that. As if it's breathing on you. Right, so close the windows. I was just talking about lots of things. I had some crypto stuff actually. There was so you've always got to be careful, and this is kind of general sort of finance savviness, maybe that's what it best to put it as. That there's a lot of influencers out there, and some of them might be doing a long-term sort of grooming of their audience. That guy's around the kilt. What's a guy wearing a kilt out here on the bicycle? What was I saying? Yeah, there's a lot of influencers that groom people. So, yeah, so you get people that groom other people, which naturally happens anyway. And this particular influencer, what he did is he seemed like a nice guy. He seemed like easy to get to listen to, and things he was pointing out that are quite interesting. But then he dropped this project. It was like this thing is going to whatever, and I thought, well, he's backing it up, and it is starting to get some traction. And I thought, well, all right, I'll put a bit of money across, and then it started going up. Well, okay, put a bit more. So I ended up putting like a couple of grand, I think, come across, and they did shoot up to about 6. And then he was like, trying to promote it, like, oh, it's going on this big, exchange, all this sorts of stuff, and definitely in. He had lots of posts that were just basically they were a load of rubbish, really. And everyone got behind the hype train because there's like an influencer there. It's like, yeah. And then it started dropping. Then early in the morning I was looking at it, and so I noticed it was dropping in price really quickly. It's lucky I only sleep 2 hours or 2 or 3 hours in a go. If I was getting up in the middle of the night all the time, I could go to a wee or whatever. I checked it was dropping. I decided to cash out half money. I thought it might recover. And so what I did is I set up some money in liquidity on an exchange, but it still carried on going down. I went back to bed and everything. And then by the time I checked it in the morning, it went right down. And so I've lost a lot, really. I think I was down to sort of like, so 2 grand turned to 500 quid. And then I put that £500 in something else. That's been growing actually. There was something called Dowge, or what is it? DJI, so Dow Jones Index 6930, I think, something like that. And so it's a coin. It's got like a bit of a Shiba Inu type thing, stroke Doge, stroke SBX 6900, which is another coin that's like, the idea is to flip that market in value, turn it into like a religion or cult. And I think for this one it's just kind of like so what I did is I put that money into liquidity, and it started to increase it. Yeah, I started to grow my bags. Interesting. Which one was going to go? Yeah. So yeah, it's slowly gone back. I guess all the money there, it's gone back to. Did I put any more money in? I probably did a bit actually this month. Didn't really want to. I felt the idea of liquidity and making money and all this sorts of stuff. So it's about $1,000 now in this liquidity thing. So it's over like, when I looked at it, $1,400. I saw this other project that maybe if I got in at the start, I could have easily made about 30k. I got into it later, and how much did I put in there? Just thinking. I think because it was going back, so it's about 1,400. At the moment, it's shrunk down to like 600 or 700 quid. But what it's also doing, and this one's called 401k. And so what the developer's done, he set it up so there's a buy and sell tax, and that's used to buy fractionalized stocks like Tesla, Nvidia, all them sorts of things, and then put that in my wallet. So it doesn't be too bad. Yeah, I've got like 70 quid's worth of different stocks. But then since my money's shrunk down, it's thinking you could have just bought the stocks, it'd be a lot cheaper. But the mindset, right, for crypto and stuff is people think, oh yeah, you got to switch it around to. I might have to flip out of this zone. Let's have a look. Just driving a straight line is great if you can't. So the mindset of a lot of people is transfer it into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going up, blah blah blah. But it doesn't have to be that way anymore. Now I can, at the end of the cycle, because it's actually in crypto, so I could just put the money across and buy the stocks. And so that would be the security. So it's kind of the equivalent of like if people put their money into what they call stable coins, where they're based against currencies, and they adjust to match the price. They reduce the supply and all sorts of things. So it's more of a security, that function. But I think that's the move forward, because it's basically the US was holding everyone back. And they still are. These tariffs and stuff, it's not doing. I mean, if they come in the bear market, it'd be a lot easier than if they put it in the bull market. Bull market keeps them causing earthquakes, financial shockwaves. So maybe the thinking is this is the market you make most of the money in. But if you disrupt it, it's because there's types of investors. You've got the institutionals, and then you've got the retail investors. People who feel like they feel the pinch in their salary, or job pullbacks and things, job cuts and uncertainty and fear. They're more sensitive to financial changes. Either they're going to blow their money on it and not worry about debt, or they're going to get very scared and not spend any money. So they haven't made it easier for them to sort of mix them in. That's why we're better off in a time when people are spending less, is to start insert the tariffs and then match the country's tariffs, or basically, some of it's like revenge stuff, really. Revenge tariffs is what they come across as. Like, what they did to sort of China, we put 200 or something percent. It's like crazy. And some other countries fell into that. If you don't do a certain deal, I mean, there's probably a better way of just focus on the countries that do. They provide what they call the best deal, and so they become a closer partner, economic partner. But what happens is some of these other smaller countries become bridges between two bigger countries. But that's okay. I mean, should we be mixing all the other politics into the pot? So, the idea is put a stranglehold on, Russia and try to squeeze them financially and cause them stuff. And that's meant to, the idea is if you disrupt the people, you disrupt the government. But I think what you might do is unify them. Because some of the most extreme people, and so they come from different spectrums, the most privileged and the most poor. So we're poverty stricken or privileged, well, it seems to, maybe they were never as good as their dad or whatever, and there's some sort of complex and that makes them want to become a leader. Some of these sort of leaders have had university degrees in the UK. Well, you've got these, whatever they are, these extremists, that's probably the best word to use, who were doctors and stuff. And you thought, well, what on earth are you doing? Highly educated, but you've suddenly decided that having extreme views and causing pain and panic is a better career path. So, which doesn't make sense. So basically there's a way I can offload into these fractional. So it's paying me out these fractional stocks with the price. It goes up and down, up and down. I mean, the general price of what I've got is not worth as much as I'd like it to be, but it's only the beginning. And pullbacks are what happens with new projects, because they become new and attractive. People think, oh yeah, you can get money out of it, you can do this, and then it flies up. And then there's people who've got later in the game, there's people who've got in the beginning and think, oh well, it's going to drop now, so I better get the money out now, because the pressure of holding so much more money they made than they imagined. Because I saw it at like 200,000 market cap. I saw it and I thought it was just a gimmick thing. But if I read the website, it said it was actually going to pay out stocks and shares and implement like Tesla and stuff, I might have taken it more seriously. But so I put £20 in. That £20 turned into 100, and I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. It's gone up. And then I started looking at it, and then I started noticing these little stocks getting paid into my wallet. I thought, oh, Tesla! I've got a little bit of Tesla. It's kind of like it's a bit more satisfying than having something. I mean, some random crypto. The other one's like a bit of a cult thing with the Doge. And so I think there's a lot of traction. That's a case of just holding on to it and then it grow. But then I've got these liquidities, and I've got some of these other liquidity set up. There's also like Pokemon thing, right? Like Poke 6900, which highlights the fact that some Pokemon cards are worth like $2 million and stuff. And that's at the current price. I mean, I don't know what they'll be worth in the future, because who would know what they are? if you bought one at 2 billion, then you've established a price. It might be overpriced, but it has a potential there. Somebody said, well, there's only like 3 of these in existence, and this might be like 10 or 20 years from now, and it'd be like, well, that car's now worth £10 million. So yeah, that's interesting. And the other one I haven't got a clue. I don't know what a stonk is. It's some weird bloke. 6900. I have to have a look at that. I don't know what a stonk is. I saw some website. It's just like all this weird stuff on it. I thought, I don't know. So yeah, after losing money from a scammer, I've re-educated myself in a slightly different direction now. Okay, cheers. So at least that's the way to coin the system, because traders will trade in and out positions, hold it, hope it goes out. That's like playing the game, which is fine. But if you hold liquidity, you can lose money by arbitrage. So if one coin goes up, one goes down, or an exchange is different, someone might buy it at one price and be selling at another price. And because if you're cheaper, there's going to be a higher demand maybe for yours, but then again, if the true value is higher than that, you're going to be losing out. So there's things where people think, well, if I buy that, sell it in this one, and switch between the exchanges, I make money. And that happens with currencies, global currencies, because prices and time zones and all sorts of things are not all exactly the same. So there we go. Anything else? That's it really. Bit of a long one, isn't it? So, global politics, crypto. You've got other things that are gonna, I don't know, geopolitical stuff. Like, I don't know, Musk and Trump. Hey. Oh yeah. It's big to sign off.